Have you ever wondered how do we know what happened thousands of years ago when there were no cameras, no mobile, no phones, and no newspaper? Can an old coin, a fossil, or even a rock tell us the story of the past? Let's find out. Hello everyone, welcome back to Learn with Ayra. Today we are starting chapter 4, Timeline and Sources of History. Open your NCERT book to page number 59. Keep your book open because today we'll understand the chapter exactly as it is written step by step. The chapter title is Timeline and Sources of History. Before reading further, let's understand these two words. A timeline helps us arrange important events in the order in which they happened. Sources of history are the different things that help us learn about the past. By the end of this chapter, you'll know how both of these help historians understand history. E.H. Carr's quote. At the beginning of the chapter, we find a quote by the historian E.H. Carr. He says that the history is an unending dialogue between the present and the past, and that we can fully understand the present only in the light of past. What does this mean? It means that today's world has been shaped by events that happened long ago. To understand our present, we must first need to understand our past. Now look carefully at the picture on the page. This is the National Museum, New Delhi. Museums preserve objects from the past such as statues, coins, and ornaments. These objects help us understand history because they give us evidence about the lives of people who lived long ago. The chapter asks us three important questions. First, how do we measure historical time? Second, how can various sources help us understand history? Third, how did early humans live? By the end of this chapter, you'll be able to answer all three questions. Now let's move to page 16. The heading says, how do we learn about the past? The chapter begins with two interesting questions. What is the earliest memory you can remember? How old were you at that time? Take a moment and think about it. Maybe you remember your first day at school, or your birthday celebration, or your first bicycle ride. All these memories are a part of your own past. The chapter asks another question. How do you think and understand the past helps us understand the present world? Think about your own family. If you know where your grandparents lived, what work they did, and how life was different during their childhood, you'll understand how your family has changed over time. History works in exactly the same way. It helps us understand how the world has changed. Earth's long history. Now, the chapter tells us something very interesting. It says that in science, you will learn that the Earth has a very, very long history, and humans occupy only a tiny part of it. Let's look at figure 4.1. This figure shows a timeline of some important stages in the evolution of life on Earth. It begins with the formation of the Earth. Then, over millions and billions of years, different forms of life appeared. First came tiny living cells, later came fish, then insects, amphibians. Amphibians means a cold-blooded vertebrate animal that typically starts life in water with gills and later develops lungs to live on land. Reptiles. Reptiles are cold blooded vertebrate animals with backbones and dry, scaly skin. Key groups of reptiles include snakes, lizards, turtles, and tortoise. Mammals. Mammals are warm blooded vertebrate animals defined by three main traits: producing milk for their young, having hair or fur, and usually giving live birth. Humans, dogs, and whales are all examples of mammals. Flowers and bees. Primates. What are primates? An advanced group of mammals, including humans, apes, monkeys. Finally, modern humans called Homo sapiens appeared only about 300,000 years ago. You must be wondering about warm blooded and cold blooded animals. Warm blooded animals and cold blooded animals differ in how they control their body heat. Warm blooded animals create their own heat inside their body. Cold blooded animals rely on the outside environment for warmth, and both use very different ways to survive. What does this figure teach us? This timeline helps us understand one important idea. Human beings have lived on Earth for a very short time compared with the Earth's long history. The Earth is extremely old, while human history is only a small part of it. This is why historians study only a tiny part of Earth's overall story. Quick recap. Today we learned the meaning of timeline, the message of Carr, how our personal memories are different from the history of all humans, that Earth has a very long history, that modern humans appeared only about 300,000 years ago. In our next video, we'll continue with page number 61, where we will learn about the experts who studied the past and discover how each one helps us understand history. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Learn with Ayra. Keep learning. See you in the next video.